Have you ever been expecting something and when you got it, it wasn't at all what you were expecting? Like when I ordered a dress off the internet and when it arrived, it was a small enough to actually fit a toddler. It wasn't what I was expecting. You see, Jesus wasn't what people were expecting. In fact, you could say that he was a disappointment to many. Now, that may come as a surprise. How could God himself be a disappointment? Well, for years, the people of Israel had waited for their Messiah to come. They were expecting a king, a ruler, someone to free them from the Romans, and he was going to make all things right away. Well, I want to read a poem that was written hundreds of years before the first Easter, Isaiah 53. Here are the verses 1 to 3. Listen to this. Who has believed our message? To whom has the Lord revealed his powerful arm? My servant grew up in the Lord's presence like a tender green shoot, like a root in dry ground. There was nothing beautiful or majestic about his appearance, nothing to attract us to him. He was despised and rejected, a man of sorrows, acquainted with deepest grief. We turned our backs on him and looked the other way. He was despised, and we did not care. Wow. This was describing Jesus. He was not what anyone was expecting. Who would ever believe that he would be their Messiah? Who would believe that he was the arm of the Lord, which means God's power? Jesus was not good looking. He was an unwanted shoot from a desert bush with no status or power. He was born to nobodies in a small town. He lived a life where he suffered and experienced pain. He was held in low esteem with no celebrity status. Despised in Hebrew actually means worthless or unworthy of attention. Ouch. How could a person like this help them? Jesus was not what they were expecting. The poem goes on to describe in great detail what would happen to him. Isaiah 53 verses 5 and 7 say, "But he was pierced for our rebellion, crushed for our sins. He was beaten so we could be whole. He was whipped so we could be healed. He was oppressed and treated harshly, yet he never said a word. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter." Jesus wasn't what they expected. He was a disappointment, and he died. But then we see it. Easter, God's plan coming in a way they least expected it. Jesus defeats the power of sin and conquers death and the grave. And verse 10 gives us the answer. It says, "But it was the Lord's good plan to crush him and cause him grief. Yet when his life is made an offering for sin, he will have many descendants. He will enjoy a long life, and the Lord's good plan will prosper in his hands." This was the unexpected Easter gift, that Jesus, the suffering servant, becomes the king who fulfills the plan of God to rescue you and me. Jesus, the unexpected one, comes and gives us life and shows us how to live. Jesus, the unexpected one, the surprise of Easter. What's your response to Jesus? Is he your king? Is he your Lord? That's courageous living.